ओके, स्टार्ट करें। स्क्रीन विजिबल है सभी को?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's begin the session. This is lecture number 17 and we are dealing with switching techniques. So in the last lecture we have seen one switching technique, that is circuit switching, and in this session we will deal with message switching and packet switching. So let's continue the lecture. Message switching. Each network node receives and stores the message. Now, before understanding the message switching technique, we should know the limitations of circuit switching techniques. So let's brief the disadvantage of circuit switching networks. Then we will get to know why the message switching comes into the picture. So the very first disadvantage of circuit switching technique is that circuit establishment and circuit disconnect introduces extra overhead and delay. We have to establish the connection first and we have to disconnect the connection. We disconnect the circuits. So it becomes extra overhead, establishment of connections and disconnect of circuits. Second one is channel capacity is dedicated for the duration of connection. It will be a dedicated. We know that in the circuit switching technique, there are two devices which have circuit switched network, and the two devices are connected with the circuit switched network. So there are dedicated link between two devices, between two landline phones. If no data is being transferred, again that whole capacity of the cable will be shared between two devices or two landline phones. So the channel capacity is dedicated for the duration of the connection, even if no data is being transferred. So that is become the disadvantage of a circuit switching network. So in order to overcome the disadvantage, the next switching techniques comes into the picture, which is being message switching. So the major concept of message switching was each network node receives and stores the message, determines the next leg of the route, and queues the message to go out on that link. Now, what does it mean? This is the infrastructure of message switching technique. There are some workstations A, B, C, D, E, and there are some node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nodes are connected to each other by a high speed cables, high speed link, and workstations are connected with the node with low speed links. Because the entire communication take place by using the node, that is the reason why nodes are connected each other with a high speed links. And this is end to end communication workstation from A to B, A to D, A to C, speed data, because the actual data communication and actual circuit switch network provided by the nodes. So the yellow shaded lines tells us this is the high speed line, and the black lines tells us this is the low speed line. Now this is called a circuit switch network, and what is the difference here every node having the storage capacity. So as you can see in the diagram, node number 1 having the storage capacity, node number 2 also having the storage capacity, node number 3, 4, 5 and 6, and every node which consists a circuit switched network must have a storage capacity. Now the purpose of a storage capacity, why it is being there, because from workstation A, if it wants to transfer some data, it originates some data, then the data message should be stay somewhere else in the circuit switch network, because these are the nodes that are connected to each other, and these are the nodes which provide a circuit switched path from end to end delivery. Let's suppose if workstation A wants to deliver some data to workstation C, then there may be a path exists. Let's suppose from workstation A to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to C. So this is the actual path provided by the circuit switch network, that node A, next leg of node A is 3, the next leg of node 3 is 5, and 5 is directly connected with the workstation C, and A workstation is directly connected with the node A, node 1. So in this way, by using node number 1, 3, 5, workstation A can communicate with the workstation C. Now during the communication, during the message passing, 4, 2, 4, 6 node will not into the picture, right? Because workstation A and C are connected together, and node number 1, 3 and 5 makes a circuit switch network between two workstations. Now the concept of message switching is every node having the storage capacity which is used for keeping the message for a while, right? So maybe a workstation A having a bulk of data, bulk of segments. So that segments we converted into messages, and message will be transferred one by one from the workstation to the node 1. Node number 1 can having the storage capacity, so all the message received by workstation A will be stored in storage capacity, right? So here so many messages are there. Now node number 1 decides what should be the next leg, what should be the next path to deliver the message. So till the next path is not decided, the message will stay on the storage capacity. As soon as the next path or next leg decided that it should be go on node number 3, the message will start delivery from node number 1 to node number 3. And again, all the message received by the node number 3 and stay on storage capacity. Similarly, then node number 3 decides what should be the next leg, because the 4 is directly connected with the node 3 and node number 5 is directly connected with the node 3. So based on some algorithms, based on some criteria, node number 3 decides what should be the next leg. Let's suppose the next leg is node number 5 in the circuit switch network. So again, all the messages which are stored in storage capacity of node number 3 will get transferred from node number 3 to node number 5. And again, node number 5 having the storage capacity, it will store all the messages received from node number 3 and will search the next leg. So the next leg is nothing, it is the end to end delivery point. This is the destination machine. So all the messages which is stored in the storage capacity of node 5 gets transferred to the workstation C. So this is how message switching technique take place. So here for storing and for deciding the next leg, there are storage capacity used by each node. This is the new things of message switching that is not available in circuit switch network. So let's read statement one by one. Now you get to know how message switching take place in the circuit switch network. Each network node receives and stores the message. Now you understand what these terms tells to us. Determine the next leg of the route and queues the message to go out on that link. Here message queue indicate every storage capacity having some limitations how many messages it can capt. Let's suppose the 50 messages can capped by the storage capacity of node number 1. So this is the queue of messages. A message comes first, delivered first. That is the FIFO manner. You know that queue is the data structure which work over FIFO manner, first in, first out. Message which receive first will deliver first. Now, advantage of this message switching is line efficiency is greater. So here you can sharing the links. So the line efficiency is greater, but in the circuit switch network, there is no sharing of links. Data rate conversion is possible. In the message switching technique, data rate conversion is possible because there is a sharing of links between two nodes. So data rate can be converted. Even under heavy traffic, packets are accepted, possibly with a greater delivery delay. This is advantage because the whole segments converted into a message and message can be go by any circuit switched network or any path. You can say there are so many paths exist from workstation A to C. So some messages can be go by 1 followed by 2 followed by 6 followed by 5 followed by C. Some message can be used this path 1 followed by 3 followed by 5 and C. So there are so many paths exist in a single circuit network. So links shared to C. So if links are shared, then the total data rate may be conversion. That's why data rate conversion is possible. So if path is less, then it use the high data rate, and path is lengthy, then it will use the low data rate. That's why data rate conversion is possible. And under heavy traffic, packets are accepted, possibly with a greater delivery delay. So if traffic gets, let's suppose the heavy traffic is there, then the messages gets use the another path. So let's suppose the path 135 having the heavy traffic, then message can go with different path 1, 4, 5 and C. So node decides the next leg, the next route to deliver the messages. Now the third point is message priorities can be used. Message priorities can be used that assign message. That means we tells to that message which transfer first and which does not transfer. So we eligible to assign the priority in the storage and that is done by the node. So node can be assigned priorities to the messages which kept in the storage capacity. So if priority having the greater, it will transfer first to the next leg. If message contain the lower priority, it will get it. So message priority can be used in the message. Now this is a diagram that shows the message switching flow. So let's suppose the from workstation A and from workstation C. We are delivering some messages from workstation A to C. Now as you can see, node number 1, node number 2, node number 4 and node number 5 comes into the picture for making the successful delivery. But here are some delay variance you can see. This is little bit delay. Now why this delay occurs in the node number 2, node number 4? Because as I told you, every node having the storage capacity. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So node number 2 showing the delay. Node number 4 showing the delay again. Now what kind of delay it is? Let's understand. As I told you, every node having the storage capacity, messages that are receiving from the workstation A will store in the storage capacity. But node number 1 directly not receive the message and transfer to the next leg. The message gets stored in the storage capacity, in the storage area. Now, after storing the message in the storage, node number 1 decides what should be the next leg. Now, that decision will take some while. That's why here is the delay occurs. So from node number 1 to 3, there is a delay. From node number 3 to 5, there may be a delay occurs. So the flow is showing some delays and you have to show in node number 2 and 4 that indicates some delay because message stored in node number 2 in the storage and the next leg, the next path, it will take some time to decide what should be the next path or what should be the next leg. Leg means just next neighbor node. So that is being decided and it is taking some while, it is taking some minutes or second. This is the delay. So in this way, node number 4 having some delay. Again, node number 4 taking some time for deciding what should be the next leg to transfer the messages. And then node number 5 transfer the message to the workstation C. So in this way, A and C gets communicated to each other by the message switching. Now there is only single disadvantage of message switching. Message of large size monopolies the links and storage. Now what does it mean by the monopolies? Monopolies the links, that means if we transfer the large message size, it occupy entire capacity or entire bandwidth of the links. For example, if we're running a two-wheeler, if we run suppose two-wheeler in the highway, then it will take a less size. But if we move a truck in the highway, it will occupy the larger size of the highway. So similarly, we have the storage and links. If the message size gets large, it monopolies the links and storage. Maybe if we have number of messages in large size, we have full the storage and we cannot able to store the messages more. So in this situation, we have to destroy the messages because we do not have sufficient space. We do not have enough space for storing the message. So always try to prefer the message should not be in the large size. It can be monopolize the links, it can be monopolized to the storage. So this become the disadvantage of message switching. Now, in order to remove the disadvantage of message switching that it monopolizes the links and the storage, the next concept comes into the picture, that is packet switching. Now, packet switching, that is the new form of architecture for long distance data communication, and it introduces in 1970. Packet switching technology has evolved over the time. This is a running technology. That means our messages, our mail, everything is transferred by using the packet switching. But initially, it is only delivered the analog signals. But right now, all gets digitally converted, and the data converted into a small packets, a small unit, you can say, and that packet transferred from workstation one workstation to other workstation by using some circuit switch network. Now it is evolved over the time and it gets developed over the time. Basic technology has not changed. That means in the packet switching technique, the infrastructure gets not changed. It will be look like that as we have using the message switching. So the same infrastructure we have used, but the concept gets changed. The transferring concept gets changed. So in packet switching, again, we have some workstations, we have some nodes are connected to each other, nodes are connected with high bandwidth line, workstations are connected with low bandwidth line, right? And every node having the storage. So this is the basic infrastructure that is not changed in packet switching technique, but the mode of transmission of packets gets changed. So basic technology has not changed. Packet switching remains one of few effective technology for long distance data communication. So always remember, if you want to making a long distance data communication, packet switching is done. Now the basic idea of packet switching technique is data are transmitted in short packets. You can say a packet should be in the size of few bytes. Now the message and packets having different. So a short packets we have to convert it. That means entire message converted into number of short packets. And that short packets can be delivered from source to destination by using circuit switch network. So in packets switching technique, data are transmitted in short packets. A longer message is broken up into a series of packets. Every packet contains some control information in its header required for routing and other purposes. So what we have done in the packet switching technique, we have given a message and message is broken down into different series of packets, that is the few kilobytes, and every packet having a header portion, that is the control information, right? So we have to move the packets from source to destination. That packet must have the information from where to move and how to reach from source to destination. So that control information provided to each and every packets in the header portion. So message is broken into number of packets, every packets having the header portion and header having the information, that is the control information, which provide routes to deliver the packet from source to destination. Packet switching techniques, as mentioned earlier, a packet switching network breaks up message into packets. Two approaches are commonly used for handling these packets. Now to providing route To each and every packets, there are two methods. First is virtual circuit approach and second is datagram approach. Now, the two approach tells us we can deliver this packet from source to destination, and in order to deliver that packets, we have two different method. Virtual circuit and datagram. Now let's understand what is a virtual circuit method and how data packets delivered from source to destination by using virtual circuit method. Now, virtual circuit approach, a pre-planned route is established before any packets are sent. Pre-planned route means we have to decide first what should be the nodes that involve to make a complete path from source to destination. Let's suppose in the given infrastructure, we want to deliver data from workstation A to C. So if we are using the virtual circuit approach, in order to transfer the packets from workstation A to C, we have to plan first. Before transferring, before delivery the data packets, we have to plan first what should be the nodes involved in it. Right? So node number 1, 3 and 5. Let's suppose these are three nodes that involve to transfer the packet from source to destination. So that is planned first before transferring the data. So 1, 3 and 5 node gets selected for making a virtual path. Right? So this is what a pre-planned route is established before any packets are sent. So we have planned successfully before transferring or before starting the data. Call request and call accept packets are used to establish the connection. Now we have to make a pre-planned route to establish between source to destination. In order to establish the connection or virtual path, there is two packets used: call request and call accept. Call request from source to destination. Just so call request and call accept packets are used to establish the connection. Call request generated by the source and it transfer from the source machine to the deliver side. Call accept packet. This is the packet accept by the receiver machine and it sends acknowledgement packet to the source machine. So call request and call accept. These are the two packets is enough for establish the connection. And remember here connection will be a virtual. There is no dedicated link. There is no physical path between source and destination. This is a virtual circuit approach. That's why the virtual name kept in front of this approach. So we are making a path, but we are making a virtual path. It will be terminated after delivery or after successfully delivery of packets. The route is fixed for the duration of logical connection like circuit switching, but difference is in the circuit switching we have the physical path between source and destination. But in the packet switching, there is a logical path. That's why the logical connection tells us. The route is fixed for the duration of the logical connection. Each packet contains a virtual circuit identifier as well as data. So each packet contains virtual circuit identifier VCI. As I told you that in the header portion, we have to mention some detail, control information which provide route to that packets. So this VCI is nothing, just a control information as well as it contains data. So every packet having two portion, control information and data. Control information or VCI, virtual circuit identifier, provide the next route, next leg, and data gets transferred from the next leg. So you can say it is working just like a engine of a train. It provides the path and data is working as a bogie. So bogie always follow the path of engines. You can consider like that. So every packets having the header portion. In header portion there is a control information. In the control information there is a virtual circuit identifier which is used to provide the next leg or next node where to deliver the data. So each packet contain a virtual circuit identifier as well as data. Each node on the route knows where to be forward packets. So each node on the route knows where to forward packets because every packet is having VCI and it tells us where we should go. A clear request packet issued by one of the two stations terminate the connections. So clear packets can be originated by the source and destination. Those who are disconnecting the connection or terminate the connection can send clear request packets. So remember, call request, call accept is these are the two message that are being transferred between source to destination so to establish the virtual connection. But in order to close the connection, in order to terminate the connection, there is a packet clear request. So this packet is used to terminate the connection between two stations. So this is the virtual circuit diagram. From station 1, from station A to C, we have to deliver data, but we are using virtual circuit approach. So here call request packet coming from the station A because it tried to establish the virtual connection. So the call request packet is starting from node number 1, transfer to node number 2, and then will stay in the storage capacity. Due to some stay, there are some delay. Then it transfer from node number 2 to node number 4. Again in node number 4, there is the storage and it is stay here for some time and then gets transferred from node number 4 to node number 5. And 5 there are workstation C which is directly connected with the node number 5 and the call accept package is generated from the node number 5 and again it will transfer to the node number 4, stay here, again transfer to node number 2, stay here, and again transfer to node number 1. This is what we are trying to do. We are establishing the virtual connection path. Now, after establishing the virtual connection path, the data from workstation A gets transferred in the terms of packets. So this is the data transferring process. And you know that every node showing the delay because every node having the storage which store packets for a while and VCI identify the next leg. So in order to identify the next leg, it will take some time. It will take some time to process the next leg. That is the delay. So this is the delay. You can consider that delay or propagation delay, because each node having storage, and this storage having some packets, and packets having the header portion. Header contain the VCI, virtual circuit identifier, which take decision where to go next, right? So decision making, it will take some while, it will take some time, so that time shows as a delay here. Now in this way, the data transferred from node number 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 5. Now after transferring all the data from station A to C, acknowledgement packet transferred from C to A by using the same virtual path, and then clear packet sends by any device or workstation A or C. It may be sent by any device for making disconnection or making termination of this connection. So this is called virtual circuit approach. Now you understand what is virtual circuit approach. The main characteristics of virtual circuit approach is route between station is set up prior to the data transfer. That means before transferring the data, we should have planned, we should have a set up a connection. A packet is buffered at each node and queue for output over a line. A data packet needs to carry only the virtual circuit identifier for effecting routing decision. So VCI take the routing decision, that is to be understand. Intermediate nodes take no routing decisions. Intermediate nodes do not take any routing decision. So who will take the decision for the next leak? The answer will be VCI. Virtual circuit identifier, which are nothing but a control information present in the header portion of the packet. So that is being decided for the routing decision. So intermediate node take no routing decision. Often provide sequencing and error control. It may be provide error control or may not be. Now the second is
सर
datagram approach. Yes.
आपने जो सर बताया वो वर्चुअल वाला,
हाँ बोलो.
वो एक बार ग्राफ दिखाना सर. हाँ तो सर ये वर्चुअल सर्किट मीन्स यूडीपी में यूज होता है या टीसीपी में?
टीसीपी में.
क्योंकि एक्नॉलेजमेंट जरूरी है इसीलिए.
हाँ एक्नॉलेजमेंट जरूरी है, पाथ का स्टेब्लिश होना जरूरी है, कॉल रिक्वेस्ट और कॉल एक्सेप्ट पैकेट्स का ट्रांसफर होना जरूरी है. इसलिए वर्चुअल पाथ है तो टीसीपी ही होता है. जहाँ पे पाथ अवेलेबल नहीं हो, जहाँ पर स्टेब्लिशमेंट नहीं होता है कनेक्शन का, वो यूडीपी प्रोटोकॉल का कॉन्सेप्ट है.
ओके सर.
सो आगे की जो अप्रोच रहेगी डेटाग्राम अप्रोच, उसमें कोई भी इस तरह का पाथ प्रोवाइड नहीं होता है. डायरेक्टली डेटा पैकेट्स डिलीवर हो जाते हैं सोर्स से डेस्टिनेशन पे.
ओके सर.
Okay, so let's continue. The next approach, datagram approach. Each packet is treated independently with no reference to packets that have gone before. Now in the datagram approach, there is no virtual circuit path. So each packet treated independently. Packet decided where to go. So there is no pre-planned route. There is no virtual path established before transferring the data, and there is no reference to packets that have gone before. So there are maximum loss of data occurs in datagram approach, and this is unreliable approach. If you are going to transferring the data that is the confidential data, you should not use the datagram approach. You always choose virtual circuit approach. Every intermediate node has to take routing decision. This is the difference between virtual circuit approach and datagram approach. In virtual circuit approach, intermediate node never take routing decision, but in datagram approach, intermediate node take decision where to go next. Every packet contains source and destination address. Intermediate nodes maintain the routing tables. Routing tables is nothing. It is a table which contains the source IP and destination IP and different access nodes or access point address. Now, advantage of packet switching, advantage of datagram approach. Call setup is avoided because here we are not sending any call request packet and call the packet for established connection. So these times uh, will be less. So call setup is avoided. For transmission of a few packet, datagram will be the faster. Now, due to these reasons, there is no virtual circuit path. There is no call request packet sent by the sender machine and received by the machine. Datagram approach is the faster because it is more primitive, it is more flexible. So always, if you have a small query kind of data which you being transferred from source to destination, like you want to connect your machine to SQL server, that is being done by a small query. Now, suppose you want to connect to the telnet servers, you want to connect a Linux server by using telnet protocol. Again, it is a kind of query. So every time when client and server are connected by using a small query, the UDP or you can say datagram approach is being comes into the picture. And it is fast also. Congestion and failed like can be avoided, and for a small query kind of data, it is more reliable. But again, if you have a bulk of data, if you want to send mail to your client, to your or your student, your friend, or you are accessing a bulk of data from the server, then the datagram approach is not applicable here. Now the problem is packets may be delivered out of order because there is no pre-planned route, so it maybe gets disordered. If a node crashes momentarily, all of its queue packets are lost. So there might be situations that node gets crashed suddenly. So all the packets which contained by the nodes will get crashed or will get destroyed. Now datagram versus virtual circuit approach. Node need not decide route, more difficult to adopt to conjunction, maintains sequence order, and all packets are sent through the same pre-planned route. But in datagram service, each packet is treated independently, call setup phase is avoided, and inherently more flexible and reliable. Now here we have given some comparisons. We have three different mode for delivering the packets: circuit switching, datagram approach, or virtual circuit approach. So in circuit switching, we have provided dedicated path with the physical links. In datagram approach, no dedicated path. Virtual circuit approach, no dedicated path, but we created a virtual path. In circuit switching, path established for entire conversation. In datagram approach, route established for each packet. And in virtual circuit packets, route established for entire conversation. In circuit switching, call setup is delay, datagram packets, packet transmission delay, and virtual circuit packets, call setup delay, packet transmission delay. Overload may block call setup. Overload increases packet delay. Overload may block call setup and increase packet delay. No speed or code conversion. Speed or code conversion. Speed or code conversion also applicable in virtual circuit approach. Here we have fixed bandwidth. We cannot share the links, so here is always fixed bandwidth. Here is the dynamic bandwidth because we are sharing the links. again in the dynamic bandwidth because we are sharing the links. No overhead bits after call setup. Overhead bits in the each packet. We have to mention header and overhead bits in each packets. Again, in packets we have a header portion. So this is the comparisons so that you clear what circuit switching provides, what datagram approach provides to the packets, and what virtual circuit provides. So this is the end of our unit 2, and in the next session we will start some practical. Now till the end, if you have any doubt, you can ask a question. We have